everybody? Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today we're going to talk about the big welterweight title fight between Showtime Shawn Porter and the defending champ, the WBO champ, Terence Crawford. Now, this is a very highly anticipated fight between two top welterweights that we have been itching to see for a while. Now, I know the top wanted fight for the welterweight division is Crawford and Spence, but this right here is a good test for Crawford to see if he even belongs in that conversation to have with Spence. Based on what we've seen so far, they are the two best welterweights that we've seen. However, a lot of the criticism against Crawford is that he hasn't fought any of the top guys in that division, being that he is promoted by a different promoter, top rank, than the other guys, Thurman, Porter, Spence, and Thurman being with the PBC umbrella. So it's kind of like, if you're an MMA fan, somebody who is a really big champ in Bellator, and we want them to see them against the guys in the UFC. So we know this is a top flight talent, but we just want to see against the other more popular, recognized top talent to see how it all shakes out. And we've been getting that on the MMA side, and now it's time we get it on the boxing side. So for the people that put this together, the fight fans are happy. The fight fans are ready to see this fight. And Rob and I really tried to get together and do this video together, but schedules didn't work out. So, we've talked on the phone, we've shared text messages. So I'm going to share his thoughts on the fight and also give you my thoughts also, and then pick a winner. Spoiler alert, we both picked the same winner, but we haven't gotten there yet. Let's not put the cart before the horse, as they like to say. So, Shawn Porter, former welterweight title holder, very, very accomplished fighter, has been in there with Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, and Errol Spence. So Porter has evolved a lot as a fighter, being someone who used to just kind of bull rush and bully his opponents, has now evolved into someone who can disguise those rushes, someone who can do boxing from the outside, being that he's a somewhat smaller fighter for the welterweight division height-wise. As far as size, he's a pretty big welterweight. He competed in the amateurs at 165 along with Timothy Bradley. But, being able to cut down, and he has like massive shoulders. So he has a very long reach and wingspan that helps him compete with those bigger, taller fighters. So what he has learned to do, rather than just straight rush his guys, and what he would used to do is end up smothering his punches. However, the other guy couldn't work at all, so it would, start to win based off of activity. And if that guy couldn't really keep Porter off of him, he could wear you out and stop you. So now he has evolved into someone who can bounce on his toes back and forth, use lateral movement, use that jab to disguise when he comes in and does the bullying and the inside fighting. He still does it, but he's a lot more intelligent in how he approaches when he goes in. And that's going to be integral to this fight here against Crawford. Now, Crawford is somebody we've seen do pretty much everything that we would want a fighter to do in the ring. We've seen him fight on the inside. We've seen him fight from the outside. We've seen him be the counterpuncher. We've seen him be aggressive. He's one of probably the best active switch hitting fighter in boxing, meaning that he could switch from orthodox, meaning a right hand dominant stance, to southpaw, being a left hand dominant stance, and be effective in both ways. Honestly, I think he's a natural right hander, but when he switches southpaw, he does damage. So in this fight, we're really looking at how each guy adjusts to the other fighter, because these are two fighters that you can't prepare for prior to meeting them. You can get sparring against southpaws. You can get sparring against orthodox fighters, but you can't get another Terence Crawford. Same thing with Shawn Porter. You can get guys who like to fight on the inside. You can get guys who are big and stocky, but you're not going to get another Shawn Porter. You're not going to get those guys that are putting it together the way they do, which is why this is such a good fight for us as fans and people who are students of the game like Rob and myself. We like to see guys like this ply their craft at the highest level. So this is like a candy shop for those type of fight fans. And then the casual fight fan who just likes to see some big names and people get hit, you're going to see that. So this one is for everyone. Now, Rob is under the impression that, Crawford is a slow starter. So he's expecting those first few rounds to go to Shawn Porter as Crawford tries to adjust to what Porter is trying to do. Like I said, he's going to try to set up those rushes by using his jab, by using his lateral movement, using feints, because he now throws a lot of feints to let people know, oh, I think he's going to come in. No, he's not coming in. And Porter is going to have to keep Crawford off balance like that for the entire fight. Rob thinks that it's going to be about 4 rounds before Crawford really gets his timing down and starts to take over the fight. And he's going to have to catch Porter in those in-between spots. Like when he's thinking about trying to get in and doing those feints, touch him anyway. Like don't wait for him to either come in or be on the outside. Make him feel like, no matter what I'm trying to do, this guy's hitting me and preventing me from doing what I have to do, and then reset. That's how, he got his knockdown scored against like Errol Spence. Errol Spence caught him coming in, punching in between Porter's wider punches, and was able to drop him. So Rob feels that Crawford can do the same, and I agree with that. Now, where we disagree is how I think Crawford's going to approach this fight. Now, Rob is saying that, he wants, or he feels that Crawford's going to stay on the outside, box Porter, and catch him in those spots, which is a very sound plan. It's probably the best path to victory. However, I think Crawford is going to try to step to Porter. He's going to try to be the one to get in there and bully him. I think he's going to try to make Porter fight on his back foot and make him uncomfortable in there, make him try to counter Crawford instead of the opposite way around. And that's going to make for some firefights. We're going to get a lot of good exchanges. Even if Crawford chooses to stay on the outside instead, we're still going to get some great exchanges. I think that part is inevitable. But I think in those, like if he does what I think he does, his tighter, more crisp punches, his ability to change looks mid-round, in between rounds, will be the difference maker. He can switch to southpaw and catch him like Spence did. He can be in orthodox and catch him like Thurman did. He has the opportunity to do both. Now, where this may be different is that Crawford started, really getting traction when he was at 135 pounds. That's when we really first saw him. He started out as a lightweight and has now grown into a welterweight, whereas Porter shrunk down to being a welterweight. So there may be a size disparity. And we've seen that, in other Crawford fights, him coming up, fighting these big, strong guys like a Jeff Horn, Kell Brook. Amir Khan started off lower like him also. But in those fights, he was able to be the stronger guy, the bigger, stronger guy. Now, those guys that I mentioned didn't put it together quite like Shawn Porter does, even though Kell Brook defeated him. there has been a lot of different things that have happened in between that fight. And I think that happened in 2014. If I'm not mistaken, Kell Brook beat him by majority decision. Their careers went in two different paths. And at this point, right now, Shawn Porter has a better skill set than Kell Brook. That is, you know, where we are right now. So, yes, Porter has a better toolbox than he did then. Like I said, he's evolved. So it's going to be a big test for Crawford. Now, he is the betting favorite. Both Rob and myself are picking him to win. So where are the Porter fans? Do you think he pulls this off? How do you think he pulls this off? And even for the Terence Crawford fans, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know how you think he's going to win. Do you agree with Rob? Do you think he boxes the most of the fight, wins a points victory? Or are you on, you know, maybe what I'm thinking, he tries to press Porter and tries to really make a statement. And I still think he wins a decision. Shawn Porter is a hard man to put away. And if he does, if Crawford puts him away, the drumbeat to see him fight Spence is going to become a chorus of large bass drums to see that fight. And I think at this point, there'd be no reason for Spence to be like, I don't want to take that fight. Like, it will be nowhere else for him to go option-wise. Now, don't take that as me saying that he's trying to duck him or anything. I recognize how the boxing business works, you know, being that I've dealt with that with certain fighters. I have a best friend who's a manager. I know and have worked with pro fighters. So I know how that game works. And then, you know, if you follow the sport long enough and you consider yourself a hardcore fan, you have been privy to some negotiation strategies and tactics. You know the lay of the land and how the business works. So Crawford stopping Porter would be a path to the inevitable fight of him and Spence. If he maybe struggles or, you know, kind of has a back and forth fight, maybe it takes a little while longer for them to make that fight. But if this becomes a statement win, or if he wins like 8 to 9 rounds against Porter, that fight's next. It is no doubt about it. So you all let me know what you think, because first they got to fight the fight. Crawford could go in there and, you know, stink it up, end up losing. He could get knocked out. Anything, you know, then Porter can say, hey, I want to rematch Spence, but they have to fight the fight. So let us know what you think. I know, you know, you enjoy what we talked about in this video. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can see the recap of the fight, our other videos, and check out, you know, Technical Toolbox and all that. We got some great content on here for you all. And we want to see you on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all Capital Combat. Hit us up there also. But I want to thank you all for sticking with us this far in this video. Catch us on the next video. And until then, fight on.
This round one and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.